protect it and take it forward. And you, I can see, are all young students in your early 20s. What are you all studying mostly? You all are law students? You can just raise your hand if I ask something that yes, we are law students or whatever. But you all are young students. And the reason I decided to speak was that yes, you all can make a change, make a difference. And free legal aid is something which is provided in the Constitution itself. And if you go by Article 39A, I have prepared a slide also. And Shelly, how will we show them as we go by? How will you do it?
I'll share it on the screen. You may tell me if it's visible, and when you will direct me, I'll move on to the next.
So after 5 minutes, I'll just do a brief introduction and then we can go on slides. So that I can, because last time what happened, I spoke for 1 hour. I think for whom I spoke, and then I lost my voice for 5 days. And for a lawyer, everything is the voice, and today my voice is already hoarse. So I want to be a little cautious.
Yes, ma'am. I would request you to kindly move with your own pace, as slow as you wish to.
Yeah, but somehow I always felt that justice, at least to me, I don't know for you all, but justice to me is more important than the fashionable clothes, although mine is a very simple thing, but what you wear or what restaurants you eat. For me, that I can compromise. I am happy with my home food. I am happy with my dal chawal. But yes, injustice I can't tolerate. And while we were working in the government and my husband faced a lot of corruption, he saw a lot of corruption and he fought against it. The result was that he resigned from the government service and he fought his case in the court. And we didn't have that kind of money to engage lawyers. I mean, if you see legal aid as per the act, people who earn less than 5 lakhs are entitled to legal aid in the Supreme Court. That is the limit. Talk to you all, I was reading that if you want legal assistance in Supreme Court, your annual income should be not more than 5 lakhs. And in states, if you want legal aid, then every state is fixing their amount, which also would be not more than 5 lakhs, because for Supreme Court it is 5 lakhs. But here my husband was a class 1 officer. But he may have a salary I think that time also put it across 5 lakhs, yeah. But, and I'm talking of the year of the 90s. But we couldn't afford a lawyer. To afford a lawyer in this country is very difficult. He decided to argue his own case. And I was also working, I was in the postal department. I would take half day CL because I said, no, I should not go to the court without taking leave, because tomorrow someone will say she's bunking office or she's misusing her position. So I would take half day leave and go just to hear what he was speaking. He argued his own case. And by the time he reached Supreme Court, he lost in CAT, he lost in High Court. But Supreme Court, when he reached, and here he was arguing himself, going to Delhi, coming back, because the law says you can argue your own case. So tomorrow as a student, if anything has, you faced a consumer case or anything, your road accident, you can argue your own case personally. So under that, he was arguing it himself. In the Supreme Court, he had to face Kapil Sibal. Can you imagine a person with no law degree and government engaging Kapil Sibal? But that was his spirit for justice. And the judges were so honest, I would say, because they heard an honest man, that my husband won the case against Kapil Sibal. And then we both decided to study law. I was a mother of 2 children. And I said, no, law is the tool to justice. Law is the tool to stand up to all the corrupt. Law is the tool to see that I get my water, I get my oxygen, I get my trees, I get my roads, I don't die in potholes. Meaning, I get my human rights, which I am entitled to under Article 21 of the Constitution, which says right to life. Right to life means right to live with dignity. So this legal knowledge is going to give you dignity, character, strength, spirit. And when we talk of legal aid is for people who can't afford lawyers. So even though we were class 1 officers, we couldn't afford lawyers. What I'm trying to say is many people can't afford lawyers. So when this system was started, can we just show the first slide? So if you put the slides also, so I can just do the definitions also with them. Why we need legal aid, Shelly?
Yes, ma'am. Sharing.
Number one, thank you NHRC for calling me, because a lot of times we planned but it didn't happen. But I said today I'm going to do.
It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So right to free and competent legal aid. Very true. It has to be competent. On this word, I want to really tell you that when I go to court, there are public prosecutors who tell me that, ma'am, can you give us these latest case laws? We don't even have them. So then you realize that the government side, they are not even equipped with the recent case laws. They don't have someone to guide, give them all these things. So at times, if I'm an intervener, like I was the intervener in the Salman Khan hit and run case. I was the intervener in a hit and run case of Navi Mumbai. If you remember, one police constable, his 2 children were crushed by drunken driving. And can you imagine a constable not getting justice? He approached me. He says, will you appear for me? Will you fight my case? Because the person who crushed my 2 children has not been arrested. So competent legal aid is something which is very important. Next. What is legal aid? So these definitions, I think Shelly will share this with you, but we can do this little interactive also. That if there is something in this, I have tried to put everything for you so that tomorrow, if you are inspired that I am going to help pro bono clients, then you will know how to go about. So these are very clearly there that NALSA, National Legal Services Authority, this is the main thing. NALSA is something which was set up in 1987. And it was also on Supreme Court orders, because Supreme Court realized that without giving legal assistance, talk of justice is just on paper. So, and who will get legal aid? It is only women, children, SC/ST persons, SC/ST persons in custody, disabled persons, industrial workers, victims of disaster and trafficking. This is what beneficiaries they will get, I think, irrespective of any. But apart from that they have fixed that 5 lakh limit. And the services, legal representation, drafting document, court fees, certified copies, advice and counseling, access to benefit under welfare laws. I think that everything is there, because if you see, when you file a petition, the paper, even the paper, of course now they're trying to make it paperless, but still lot of printing, xeroxing, serving of copies. Everybody is not so tech savvy, but yes, I'm happy that now gradually we are moving to e-filing, so that it will save a lot of paper. But it very clearly said that ensure equal access to justice, reduce barriers such as cost, complexity, and distance. And I, as a lawyer, I've practiced now for 12 years, and I feel, yes, all these things are very important. Distance is important, because people, I myself have gone to courts like Panvel and all. From Mumbai, going is not easy. 2-3 hours you spend. You reach there, you reach at 10 o'clock. By 11:30, you know that the judge is on leave. So nobody bothers even to tell you. They know that these are the cases. Logically, a computer message should go that judge is on leave. These cases is not going to happen, or whatever. when the court clerk comes, he will give you a date. So I think Supreme Court will get. So distance also is very important, because then there was a person there who'd come from Sholapur. He started crying. He said, "This is the third time I have come, and I have not been heard." So the very concept of justice is defeated. That if a person travels all the way, and you may talk of free legal aid, but if you don't ensure that the day the hearing is, even if the judge is on leave, some other person should be sitting there. So, criminal justice system really needs to be tweaked. So we talk of legal aid, but these are the lacunas. Since I am a practicing lawyer, I'm going to tell you the problems. So, cost, of course, is a very important point. Complexity, definitely, because now with e-filing, I don't think the rural people, people who are not so literate, women, they will not know how to e-file. So that means now you are totally dependent on some lawyer that he will do it. So that is something which also now Nalsa will have to look into. But yes, filing is a very important part. Distance needs to be looked into. In fact, and cost. So this is what authority is there. Next, Shelly. And I feel beneficiaries that the court has been very good. And again, as I was telling you, it has not been just given by to us on a platter. It is mentioned in the constitution, and 39A is itself a mini constitution. If you are students of political science, you would realize that 39A is the crux. It says equal justice and free legal aid. It is an obligation on the state. You are not doing it as a charity, it is an obligation. If we are a welfare state, if we are a secular state, we believe in a social justice system, then you have to give legal aid. And it said it ensure justice based on equal opportunity for all citizens. आज क्या कहते हैं कि सिर्फ अमीर को न्याय मिलता है, गरीब तो पहुंचता ही नहीं है. When I was a student, I used to hear my grandfather say, अरे जमीन बिक जाती है कोर्ट कचहरी घिसते घिसते. What he meant was, and that is what I remember, he used to say he had a civil matter in Allahabad High Court which went on for 20 years. When he won, he was so happy. He said, मैं गांव से 20 साल से कोर्ट जा रहा था. He had the perseverance. और कोई होता वो टूट जाता. So what is important is time frame. So this 39A, what it said was, this was introduced in 1976, and it clearly said that state to provide free legal service through suitable legislation schemes. So that is one part, and one is Article 21, which I talked to you. That Article 21 for all of you, the day you feel you are discriminated, the day you feel you are not getting what is due to you, you can knock the doors of the Supreme Court under Article 21. And in Meka Gandhi case, Supreme Court very clearly said that procedure must be fair, just and reasonable. At times there is a high-handedness of the police, there is high-handedness of other authorities, and I think that is why we have the Human Rights Commission. It has been doing wonderful work. Human Rights Commission has been reaching out to states wherever custodial rights have taken, wherever people's human rights have been violated. It is asking for answers, it is passing strictures. So NHRC has been doing wonderful work, and kudos to NHRC that it is standing up to any atrocity it is finding anywhere in the country. So, but here, Meka Gandhi's case, it very clearly said, Supreme Court said, procedure must be fair, just and reasonable. You can't just impound my passport. You just can't stop me from leaving the country. You can't just stop me at your own will and fancy. You have to follow a set procedure. And it said no person shall be deprived except by procedure established by law. So, laws of natural justice have to be followed. There is a saying which you all must write down. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. That if I have a conflict of interest, if there is a matter in which I am involved, how can I be the judge or jury? So the maxim is very important. You cannot be a judge in your own cause. And No person shall be deprived except by procedure established by law. So these are two things, and the Supreme Court has clearly said that right to a counsel is implicit in Article 21. And that is why Kasab was given. People said, why give him a lawyer? But our democracy is so strong that we gave Kasab also a lawyer to defend himself. That is the greatness of living in India. That is the greatness of this country. Whatever anyone says, we are in one of the grandest democracies. You know, whatever media shows, don't go by that. You should be able to pick out what the truth is, what the correct thing is. Media has its own agenda. So don't go by media driven issues. You should have the knack to see between the lines. You know, I speak a lot on TV. I mean, you can Google Abha Singh lawyer. And at times when I'm asked to speak on some topic, immediately they'll call up and say, this story is coming from there, can you speak? I said, I need to know the story. I'm not going to just say like that because I have a credibility. So that is what I'm trying to say. That even today, our constitution has ensured that we have not become Bangladesh, we have not become Pakistan, we have not become Afghanistan, we have not become Sri Lanka. You know, so you as young students should know that you are sitting in a beautiful democracy. And when an activist lawyer like me is saying, I have traveled the world, there are many things to be done. As I told you, the justice takes 10 years, 20 years. At times I get frustrated and I feel that I should move out. But then I am reminded of my husband who fought his own case, was defeated in CAT and High Court, but won in Supreme Court because it was this constitution, Article 21, which allowed you right to life to present your own case, fight your own case. And there was a judge who listened and saw merit in his case. His transfer was cancelled. His 10-month leave was treated as on duty by the Supreme Court. He came back and joined the system as a victim. So that is the power. Next, Shelly. So legal aid everybody requires. See now why legal aid is needed. These are the figures which are very scary. That, of course, this is the plus point. That these are the figures which show that how many people have taken hit. That means what are the socio-economic barriers to justice? Illiteracy, disability, poverty, distance. Again, if you see, when I was doing my first slide, Supreme Court said complexities of cost, distance. And now this independent study says distance is a barrier. So these are the barriers. Gender bias, language. Language, I will tell you. The CRPC, now the PNSS, it says when you go to file an FIR, you should be given a copy of the FIR in the language that you speak. Like in Maharashtra, they give in Marathi, but if I don't read Marathi, I don't understand Marathi, I can demand that you give it to me in Hindi, which the police station will say we are not equipped. But luckily now, thanks to the Google translator, you can translate. But at a time when it was not there, you could have demanded if you knew the section and said, no, the law says that I should be given a copy of the FIR in the language that I know. So, language barrier is a major thing. Gender, of course. Women are scared to go to police stations. Even now, Supreme Court has been hammering again and again that you put CCTV cameras in police stations. I wonder why cops are not ready. Because it will stop the corruption. It will all the atrocities. I'll tell you why cameras are required. You know, my father was also in the police, And he was telling me, he used to be DIG Agra those days. And one day he went on a surprise inspection. And he went and he just checked the police station. And he found one person in the police station. And he asked, who's he? There was nobody could reply anything. Because that person was put behind bars without making an entry in the station diary. Because if you make an entry, then you'll have to produce him before the magistrate. So, and I was a student. I was a student of political science who was very involved. So I used to, and human rights came to me as a child. I was always very concerned. So he used to tell me, he used to share these violations, and he said, I suspended that inspector, and this is, I'm talking of 40 years back. My father is no more. He died 20 years back. But even then, police would call someone to police station, don't make an entry, forget that. I'll tell you today's story. One lady called me up. I was in a meeting, weeping, and she said, "Abha ji, मेरे घर में पुलिस आई हुई है और पुलिस वाले कह रहे हैं कि तू चल पुलिस स्टेशन और अभी तुम्हारा दिमाग ठीक हो जाएगा." And where is this? This woman lives in Bandra. Her flat is in Bandra. Her only tragedy is that she's a widow with 2 daughters and she doesn't have a son. So her brother-in-law, who has a son, mother-in-law has transferred the shares to the other son who has a son, and they are thinking that they can push this widow out and grab the flat. And can you imagine a 10 CR flat in Bandra? And this widow says, if there are 2 sons, of course it was my husband who had bought the flat, but fine, he didn't will it to me because he died young. But my share should be given to me. Where will I go? Where is the roof for me? I've lived in this house for 30 to 40 years. So I said, okay. I said, don't cry. Give the phone to the cop. I called, took the call. I said, I'm a lawyer. And she had come to me earlier also. I said, I'm a lawyer. And you give me a summon. If you want me to come to the police station, you give me a 41 summon. Without that, how can you say like that? And I said, you give it in writing and then only we will come. So when he realized that she has some legal help, that cop went away. So see now, I hope there are some lawyers in this. I'm telling you what I did. I did an RTI. And since that station diary thing was in my mind, I asked for the copy of the station diary of that date on which this police team had come to this widow's house. So as per law, they should have made an entry in the police station diary that so and so are leaving for this work. They are going to issue this, that, whatever. The law says. So when I asked for that, there was chaos in the police station. They thought कि आज तो मैडम हमारी नौकरी ले लेगी. So that is why it is important that when you say free, competent legal aid, that widow had not paid me, but that widow had reached out to me because when I quit the government service and I said I want to be the voice of the voiceless, when I said that I want to be, I really am passionate about women, not only women, I do take up cases of men also, I have some, but somehow I felt that women have been suffering down the years. A lot of them are not even educated and they suffer domestic violence, they suffer so many issues. Like this widow, if she didn't have a son, not having a roof over her head. So that one station diary thing, RTI, solved the thing. The police then, they pounced upon that other guy who had taken them. And you will be happy to know that she got her share without even litigating. They walked into the trap. One mistake the cops did, and I ensured that this widow got her share. She took her money, went to Delhi. She died last year. Happy, settled, and she lived, and I'm talking this is 10-year-old back. So that is why timely assistance and gender, I said that was a lady. She didn't know the law. and I was there, who picked up her call immediately when the cops came. Otherwise, maybe if I had not picked up her call, she would have got scared, who had never met the cops, never been to the police station. She would have just packed her bags and gone. It would have been injustice to humanity. So if you see, since inception, but see, 1.67 crore is also